Now, have you ever wondered why some men just, stop chasing? I'm not talking about lazy men or players. I'm talking about those ones who have it all together: ambition, confidence, drive, the ones you'd call high value men. Why do they suddenly stop chasing women? Most people assume it's because they've lost interest, or that they are arrogant, or maybe they are just too busy. But here's the truth nobody really talks about. High value men stop chasing not because they don't care, but because they've discovered something much deeper. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why chasing destroys value, why these men refuse to do it anymore, and how you can shift your mindset and become the kind of man who attracts instead of chases. Let's get into it. What does high value really mean? Before we get too deep, let's clear up something. What does being high value even mean? A lot of people think high value means rich or famous, or a man with six-pack abs and a perfect jawline. That's wrong. A high value man isn't defined by his bank account or the number of women he can pull. It's about self-respect. It's about emotional control. It's about having a clear purpose in life. It's a man who knows his worth and lives by it. And here is the thing: when you know your worth, you don't run after anyone to convince them of it. That's why chasing doesn't align with being high value. Chasing says, I need you to see my worth. Please notice me. A high value man says, I know my worth. If you don't see it, that's okay. I am not going to beg you to. That's the shift. Why men chase in the first place? Why men chase in the first place? Now let's be real for a moment. Why do most men chase? It usually comes from a scarcity mindset. You meet someone you really like, and suddenly you feel like, if I don't chase, I will lose her. You start over texting. You keep trying to impress her. You rearrange your life just to fit into hers. And at first, it feels like you're being romantic. But what's really happening is this: you're signaling that you don't believe you deserve her without all that extra effort. Chasing often isn't about love, it's about fear of losing. And fear driven attraction never lasts. Here's the harsh truth: the harder you chase, the faster attraction dies. Why? Because women, um, just like men, are drawn to people who are self-possessed. Chasing tells the other person you've got nothing going on but them. And that's where high value men draw the line. The turning point: when he stops chasing, there comes a moment when a man just wakes up. Maybe he's been texting first every time. Maybe he's been putting in all the effort while she gives the bare minimum. Maybe he's been putting her on a pedestal while she's treating him like a backup plan. And then it hits him. Why am I doing this? Why am I overextending myself for someone who wouldn't do the same for me? This is where the mindset shift begins or happens. High value men stop chasing because they start asking different questions. Instead of, how do I get her to like me? They ask, does this woman even align with my life, my values, my vision? Instead of, what can I do to impress her? They ask, why am I investing so much energy here when she's not meeting me halfway? And once that shift happens, the chasing ends. Not because he's angry, not because he's bitter, but because he's now playing a different game. Now, you ask this question: why high value men refuse to chase? I'm going to break this down into real reasons high value men stop chasing. Now, the first reason is chasing feels like self-betrayal. Chasing feels like self-betrayal. When you keep chasing someone who is not reciprocating, you're actually disrespecting yourself. High value men value themselves too much to keep handing out emotional energy to someone who doesn't value it. The second reason is they understand true value comes from walking away. Here's something most men don't realize: the ability to walk away is one of the most attractive traits you can have. When a man can calmly say, this isn't right for me, and step back, that says more than 1,000 grand gestures ever could. Now, the third reason is chasing drains emotional energy. A high value man understands that emotional energy is expensive. Why spend it on someone who isn't matching your efforts? The fourth reason they don't chase is purpose comes first. High value men are builders. They are focused on creating something, a business, a legacy, a meaningful life. Chasing someone who isn't aligned with that, that's a distraction. So the fifth reason they don't chase or they stop chasing is confidence replaces neediness. Here's the big one. When a man becomes truly confident, chasing feels unnatural. Because he finally gets it. Attraction should be mutual. Effort should be balanced. He doesn't need to win anyone over. He lets the right connections flow naturally. Now I'm going to be giving you real life story. How this looks. Now, let me paint you two scenarios. The first scenario, the chaser. Let's say James meets a woman. He likes her instantly. He texts every single time. He cancels plans just to see her. She takes hours, sometimes days to respond, but James doubles down. He chases harder, thinking if I just do more, she will like me. Months later, he's exhausted. He feels ignored. He starts doubting himself. Now look at the second scenario, the high value man scenario. Let's say David meets a woman. He likes her too. He texts sometimes, shows genuine interest, but he doesn't overdo it. He stays consistent with his work, his hobbies, his friendships. When she takes too long to reply, he doesn't spiral. He stays grounded. If she doesn't match her energy, he matches his energy, steps back. What happens? Either she naturally leans in or she fades out. Either way, David wins because his life keeps moving forward. Now, the deeper truth, chasing isn't attracting. Here is what most dating advice won't tell you. Chasing is not the same as attracting. Chasing is about trying to earn approval. Attraction is about being your authentic self and letting the right people gravitate towards you. When you chase, you are operating from lack. I don't think I can get you unless I overcompensate. That's what chasing does. When you stop chasing, you're operating from abundance. I know my value. If this doesn't work, I'll be okay. And trust me, that's magnetic. The minute you stop chasing, people start wondering, why isn't he desperate for my attention? What's so different about him? That's when interest shifts. You are attracted by being steady, not needy. Now, how to become this man? How do you become this high value man who doesn't chase? Okay, so how do you shift into this high value mindset? The first thing is do a self-worth check. Ask yourself, am I chasing because I really want this person or because I don't believe I deserve unless I overgive? Secondly, set boundaries. Stop over-investing in people who give you little in return. Thirdly, reinvest in yourself. Build your life, your body, your skills, your network. Fourthly, adopt an abundance mindset. Believe that great people are everywhere. You don't need to beg for one person's attention. Now, here is the truth. High value men stop chasing because they have realized chasing was never the way. Attraction should be natural. Connection should be mutual. Effort should be balanced. When you understand your value, you don't need to prove it. You just live it, and that is when everything changes. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and then drop a comment sharing your thoughts. And remember, stop chasing, start building yourself, and watch how the right people start chasing you. See you in the next one.